There was something about the timing of it that caught people off guard. When Eamonn Holmes publicly acknowledged what Ruth Langsford had been through, a Christmas hospital dash that had quietly slipped into the headlines, it didn't feel like a celebrity headline. To many viewers watching it unfold online, it felt far more personal than that. It felt like someone letting the curtain drop, just slightly, in a way that television rarely allows. Eamonn and Ruth occupy a strange and fascinating space in British television. They were for years the definition of a certain kind of comfortable, familiar morning television, a partnership that viewers felt they knew. Not because audiences were inside their home, but because for hours every week, in that particular way that only breakfast television creates, they invited us into something that resembled one. So when that partnership publicly fractured, people didn't simply move on. They watched, they noticed, and when Eamonn showed public support for Ruth after her health scare, many viewers noticed something shift, something that hadn't quite been there in the months before. The detail that lingered wasn't just what was said. It was the fact that it was said at all. Because here's what some people watching have been quietly thinking. In a separation that played out with the kind of painful visibility that public life demands, moments of genuine warmth feel almost startling. Not dramatic, not performative, just unexpectedly real. And that realness, when it surfaces through the noise of headlines and speculation, tends to hit differently. Audiences who had watched them for years together found themselves emotionally recalibrating. Some felt relief. Others felt something closer to quiet sadness, for what once was, for what clearly still exists beneath the surface. There's a possibility that what Eamonn offered wasn't simply a kind gesture to an ex-wife. Some audiences began wondering whether it was also something rarer, a moment of decency offered in public at a time when decency was under no obligation to be visible at all. Ruth's hospital dash over Christmas had already drawn sympathy from her fanbase. She has navigated an extraordinarily difficult period with a composure that many viewers have openly admired. But it's worth sitting with the psychology of why this particular show of support from Eamonn registered so deeply. Television couples carry a strange emotional weight with their audiences. People form attachments that aren't logical but are entirely human. When the relationship ends, there's a kind of collective grief, and when kindness resurfaces between two people the public still holds affection for, it activates something that commentary can barely explain but viewers absolutely feel. It almost seemed as though the gesture was doing more than one thing at once. On the surface, concern. Underneath, at least for viewers interpreting the exchange, acknowledgement of shared history, of a connection that legal proceedings and tabloid coverage can't entirely dissolve. What makes moments like this linger isn't the drama. It's the quiet recognition of something human inside a world that so often strips humanity away. Morning television thrives on warmth, on the sense that the people on screen are, in some version of reality, just like us. And when two people who built that warmth together still manage to carry a trace of it toward each other, viewers respond to that in a way that no headline fully captures. Maybe what stayed with people wasn't the hospital story itself.